Finally, here we are. Oral session. Paul Wight is joining me. We get to do this together.
I know. This is
in
great.
the same room.
I know. It's like serendipity.
It is.
It is.
We've been COVID tested. Everybody relax. We've done all the things. I've got my little wristbands that prove it.
Yeah, I'm like 0-31 in COVID tests.
Are you?
I'm doing good.
I still have antibodies.
Still,
9 months.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, nuts. Still thriving. So here we are. We're here at AEW. Who would have thought that we would be sitting here in this situation,
well,
right?
I mean, if you look at my career, I've had more turns in NASCAR. So this is probably, this is one like, yeah, we all saw that coming.
No, not at all.
I didn't see it coming.
I don't think anyone saw this coming.
No, this was a very quick decision that was made in a matter of 48 hours for me.
So how did that all happen? Like, I mean, because it blew my mind when I heard this. I was like, wait, what? Because you've been with WWE for over 20 years.
Over 20 years, yeah. For me, it was just, I think just creatively, it was just frustration. You know, I've gone back and forth with, you know, with Paul Heyman and Bruce Pritchard and Vince. And I had some medical issues a couple of years ago where I had some problems with the hip real bad. And you know how things are there, that if you kind of get out of the loop a little bit, it's real hard for them to work you back into the loop.
Yeah.
No matter how much talent you have, no matter how much you have to offer. And it was just frustrating to me because, I mean, yeah, sure, I was making money. I worked once against Drew after WrestleMania there, and then I did the small angle with Randy.
Yeah.
And I did a couple of things, like I came in to be partners with Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe, and then, you know, that went out, and it's like, I need more than this, guys. Like, I've never been ever a sit on the bench guy. You know, I'm not going to take money, just sit at home and be happy like a little princess. That's not my deal. I like to work for my money. I like to earn it, and I like performing. I think I went 18 years in WWE without missing a single Europe tour.
Wow.
Spring or fall.
That's a lot. And for people that don't understand that, I mean, those trips are grueling.
Yeah. No
matter what, let alone what travel's like for you.
Yeah, but here's the thing, you know, and people said that, show, how do you fit on this plane? How do you do that? And it was like, you know, I just had to do what I had to do. I had two choices. I could go to work or I could not, you know, and it's just all an attitude, you know, and I loved doing what I'm doing. I think that was the biggest thing that was a letdown for me was not being able to get something going creatively, you know, because, and I've known, you know, Vince for a long time, and he gets focused and he gets blinders on and he's, you know, doing what he's doing. It's real hard to be that squeaky wheel that gets the grease. And
especially if you're not at TVs every
if you're not at TVs and you're just sitting there and nobody is like, hey, you know, Paul Wight's still alive. Paul Wight's he's clear. He can work. You know, he can work. And it just got frustrating to the point of I just got frustrated with trying to knock on the door. And they were trying to use me for other things. They wanted me to do, you know, the community relations things, which is stuff I love to do anyway. But they were trying to do me a favor, I think, and like put me out in Shady Pines. And, you know, I don't want to be in Shady Pines. I tried to tell them, like, look, don't put me in Shady Pines. And, you know, so I had an opportunity to do something else and I took it. And here's the thing, you know, I've talked to Vince, I've talked to Kevin Dunn, you know, nobody's mad, nobody's upset.
That's good.
It's not an anger thing. Like, you know, the day I signed, you know, Vince called me and wished me all luck and then said I'm gonna be a big asset for AEW and have a good time and all that. I mean, I've done a lot of things with him. So for me to turn around and try to bury WWE, it's not about that. It's just business, you know.
And the fact that the way the business is now, the fact that this opportunity is a thing that's available is like, oh my God.
It's unbelievable. I get to work with younger talent. I get to work in an environment where I can really, really contribute.
Yeah.
I can do color commentating, which has always been, we've talked about this for years. This is like, you know, I'm excited about it. I hope I don't, you know, screw the pooch on this one.
No, you'll be great.
I hope so.
You'll be great.
You know, otherwise it's just like, I'm just going to like, you know, put a bag over my head, never show my face again.
Trust me, I tried to do that for a while. It didn't work.
It didn't work. But, you know, and then I'm going to hopefully get the opportunity to work with some of these guys. You know, there's a lot of younger talent here that are bigger guys that I can really help and bring them along and find out who they are, you know, and I can still perform in front of the fans. I mean, when you have more to contribute and you have more in the tank to give, you want to give it. You know, I know this is going to come to an end someday. I know it will. Not for a while, yeah.
Not for a while, and now it's on your own terms.
It's on my own terms.
You're in the driver's seat. You're not knocking on someone's door waiting for someone to respond to an email or tell you where you can be. Like, you're totally in control.
It is, and you have any idea how unreal that feels?
Yeah, I do.
It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, even a simple fact where I called Revolution the other night, I called it Evolution. You know, there's Elevation's the new show that I'm doing.
I will say the names get a little.
You know, like there's a lot of tongue twisters going in there. You know, but nobody jumped my ass. No, you know, I didn't have somebody. What are you, stupid? You know,
damn it.
Show Jesus, you don't know the name of the goddamn pay-per-view.
You ruined it. Now no one's gonna buy it.
No one's gonna buy it. It's your fault. You know, like
we've been there.
You know, but you know, again, you know, you're working for a guy who's a perfectionist, who holds himself to a higher standard and holds everyone else around him to that standard. You know, and it can be hard to work under those situations. It can be hard to work under those situations because even if you have, you know, my favorite line with Vince is I'll take it under advisement, which means shut the up. I don't want to hear it anymore. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, I've been, you know, this will really, I'll take it under advisement. Well, that's the end of that. Yeah. You know, period. That's the end of that. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to get knocked out by the mechanical bull. Okay, here we go. But, you know, but at the same time, I learned so much from working there and how to do things and how to be an entertainer and psychology and all that stuff, that these are tools that I can help younger guys with. Not necessarily that style of philosophy, because, you know, the environment over there is created to be a very competitive Shark Tank environment. Yeah. It's done that way by design because the guy at the top is a fighter, you know, and that's what he does. He wants confrontation. He wants people thinking about the product as much as he is. Yeah, it is. And he wants all the dogs running to his pack are all the same way. They're snarling for every scrap. You know? Yeah, you got to be afraid to step on toes. You know what I mean? And that's a great environment, but at the same time, sometimes it isn't conducive for being as creative as you want to be, you know? Because when that one person has a vision, that's the vision that's mandated and followed. Whether, you know, you have a different insight, even if it's not about yourself, but about a different talent, you want to help them. And I think myself, because I've had the unique opportunity in my career the last 4 decades. Oh my God, isn't that crazy to say? Yeah, it is, because I still remember being like long-haired and green as
you
grass.
You had a great head of hair, man.
I did.
It was really beautiful.
I was
you're still handsome.
No, but back then I was like a 7-foot Jason Momoa, and now it's kind of like GQ Shrek, maybe. No, it's not. I mean, you know, you're like, you kind of like steal the spotlight in a room anywhere you go. Well, I'm bigger than the sun, so I can't help but steal it. Like,
that helps.
It helps, you know, when a shadow looms, like, oh, there he is. So, but you know, that's what I'm excited about this opportunity. Is all the people I've worked with, from Savage to Hogan, Jim Duggan, Sting, Flair, Arn Anderson, John Cena, Batista, Randy, Hunter, Kane, Taker. You know, I was thinking the other day, when you think about, you know, and I was just talking with Tony, I probably have more 3-way matches than anybody here in this company. Yeah. I probably have more cage matches than anyone here in this company.
That's a very valid point.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that I have done, tag teams and stuff, like, because I've been around for a little bit. For a long time. I've been around. Like, my first match was in Egypt on a chariot. When God said, let there be light, I flipped the switch. No, but all that knowledge and experience, I want to give to the younger talent. I want to make them embrace themselves, because it sucks to be green, to be in a business where you're making more money than you ever imagined making in your life, and not being confident in who you are as a talent because you're not sure of who you are yet.
And to be catapulted on TV. And it is different, where in WWE, there might be more of that micromanaging. And some people thrive under that and some people crumble under that. Yeah. But this is a different situation. You get to go out there and really find your own footing.
And you can really find out who you are and what you're made of. At the same time, that's where I can come in and help guys from taking shortcuts, from taking, you know, pay attention to
working the cameras.
Pay attention to what the I call it the cutoff spot of the night is. Because you'll see sometimes watching matches, you'll see 3 or 4 of the same cutoff spots every night. Between the top turnbuckle and the second turnbuckle, shoulder into the ring post.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's done tonight already. Maybe change it in your match or something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those kind of things I can help people. I think I have a good insight and a gift also for explaining psychology so that people can understand it. Because it was hard for me to understand as a giant, as a big guy, like, oh, be strong, be strong. Okay, well, what the does that mean exactly? No sell, do sell.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you register? How do you get a guy that's 7 foot tall work against a guy like Rey Mysterio and tell a story that everyone wants to see and walks away going, wow, that was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
It takes time and understanding of who you are and what to do, and the ability to change. Because sometimes guys plan things out in the back. They'll plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and that particular crowd might not be into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to shift gears because you work different in England than you do in California, than you do in Georgia, than you do in Boston.
Sure.
You know, so I've had enough years that comes into play, and that's some of the growing pains. I'd love to be able to save some of the AEW talent here from going through.
Who are some of the people that you want to help? You've got your eye on things.
Well, personally, my personal dream match so far right here that I salivate every time I see him is Darby Allin.
Oh, isn't he so good?
I want to be a heel and work with him so bad. Oh my.
You can toss him.
Oh, it was not about tossing him. He knows how to sell, to have that. You won't break me no matter what you do.
It's like a Jeff Hardy a little bit.
Yeah. A lot like Jeff Hardy, where it's that intrinsic value that not a lot of people have that he has. So I salivate looking at Darby, and then I look at, for big guys, Luchasaurus, there's a lot of stuff I can do with him and help him, and Wardlow, and even work with like Brian Cage and Kenny Omega, obviously. Kenny Omega and I think can tear the house down.
Oh my God.
Adam Page.
Mm-hmm. Like Lance Archer. That guy's that's a big boy.
Lance is thinking about, Lance and I have known for a long time, and Lance has been, he's gone down the road and done his thing too. But like Lance and I could have a lot of fun because Lance is a very vicious, aggressive individual. So as a heel, I could do some stuff with him as a babyface, and I think we could tell a story and get that over pretty good.
So you're here doing commentary, but also going to be stepping into the ring.
I'll be stepping into the ring. My main thing right now is, when I talked to Tony about this, I didn't want to come in, and him and I both agreed, like, plop in right out of the gate, new gear, roll in, get in the middle of a title hunt. Because, Kenny and Mox and everybody, they've all built this angle and got to this point where there's nothing worse than having some asshole jump in the middle of your angle in your program.
Yeah.
So my thing now is, and plus for me, to do the best services I think that I can for everybody is, I'm going to come in, do the commenting because it's a passion, also evaluate, watch the talent, get to know the talent, because in WWE, I was constantly absorbed in it all the time. Mm-hmm. So I knew what people were doing, I knew how they were doing, I knew what they were thinking, so it was an easy transition. This is brand new for me. I'm the new kid in school, so to speak. I'm the new kid that's flunked 8th grade like 45 times and still there. But I'm the new kid in school. So for me, this gives me a great opportunity to really study and learn the talent around me, and then find the right program to start with.
Are we going to get to the tag team of you and Marco Stunt?
Marco Stunt,
I mean, it's a dream, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think me being a heel working Marco Stunt is also a dream too.
Oh my God.
I'm sure. I would probably get a call from Child Social Services.
Someone will be knocking on your
Somebody will be like, I saw what you did to that child. Big, we're gonna hang you from a big tree. You big galoot.
So on the commentary side, I mean, that is a whole other thing to be delving into.
Right.
Have you been listening to certain things? Have you been talking to certain people? What's like going through your mind?
Well, going through my mind is trying to get I go back to my commentary people that are my favorites was, like, to me, was Gordon Solie. And then when I look at professional wrestlers that did commentary, Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse the Body Ventura, even Bobby the Brain Heenan. I mean, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he was just...
Best.
I'm not even in the same zip code as Bobby the Brain Heenan, because he was just so amazing, because all those guys found that way to tell a story about the talent in the ring and get the talent in the ring over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's a fine line. That's the thing that I think that I'm gonna push myself towards is it's not a AEW dark elevation is not an opportunity for me to sit back on a microphone and talk about myself for an hour. Because, you know, quite frankly, that's an ass move. You know, you want to give your focus and attention to the guys in the ring that are getting over and help them, and that's something that I think I can add with experience, add some validity to the talent in the ring.
And that just comes back to the psychology that we're talking about earlier too,
Right.
where like, yeah, because unless it's leading to an angle, you just putting yourself over, trying to get yourself
Sucks.
It only goes so far without being like, all right, someone's got a fight show now.
Or like somebody unplug his microphone, for Christ's sake. I remember I was having fun with like Vince let me do a little bit of commentating here and there, but he knew in the back of my mind that's what Kevin Dunn knew, Michael Cole knew, Jerry Lawler, they all knew like that's what I wanted to do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been a huge passion of mine. Yeah, I would probably say the last, I don't know, 15 years.
Wow.
It's like when I envision my mind, where does my career end up? My career ends up with me doing color commentating full time, like Gorilla Monsoon or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, but because. So
was it you that pitched doing commentary to Tony then?
Yeah. Absolutely. That was one because when we were talking on the phone, like Tony was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? You know, I said, well, I want to do color commentating, and I also want to wrestle. Do you want to wrestle too? I said, absolutely.
That's so good. Yeah, ready to go.
Oh yeah, I got 3.5 pounds of titanium, baby. I'm a 7-foot Wolverine. But yeah, and he was, you know, and I've known Tony for a while, and I think he was a little surprised because you know I hit him up and I came up to Jacksonville after my WWE contract expired. I made sure everything was legal there, got all my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And then I came up with him and I had a talk in the office when like no one was here. You know, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night, like when we were up here.
Just clandestine meetings.
It was so clandestine. You know, the only thing he needed was a big briefcase of cash handy. And we talked about it, and I talked about what my passions were for the industry, my passions about psychology, getting talent over, working with talent, and the potential that AEW has. And that's the thing, you don't want, and I don't care if this pisses people off or not, but I'm going to say it. If you don't like it, 2 tears in a bucket. Yeah. You need competition that's not in the same house. You need another brand where if someone doesn't find out who they are on one brand, there's still another company where they can reinvent themselves and try again.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the problem with when WWE was the only game in town. Sure, you had all the talent. Sure, you had this great plethora of talent to work with. And I think that's one of the problems that WWE has now. Is because they had so much talent that they can't really maximize on all that talent.
Even when you think of all the hours of television that WWE has, there's only so many people that get that TV time. And like you said, it's like you've been there for 20 plus years, but you're out of the loop for a little bit, not on TV. Like I went through the same thing when I was like off doing backstage, and I came back and I'm like, hey, how do I'd be messaging Bruce Pritchard. I'd be messaging whoever's been like, use me for this, use me for that. I'm like, how? Like once you're out of there, it's hard to like really ingratiate yourself back.
It is tough to get back, especially when you know they think that they're, you know, doing you a favor.
Right.
You know what I mean? They thought they were doing me a favor by, you know, sure I had all that tenure and you know, and they did.
He's not been properly utilized in quite some time.
Well, yeah, but you know, yeah, okay. But I've never been a guy, honestly, Renee, I never gave a shit about what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't care about titles I've won. I don't care about great matches. I don't care about bad matches. I don't, because what happened yesterday is already gone. I can't change it.
Sure.
I'm about today and tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
And that's my big thing. I could have sat in WWE and sat on my ass and, you know, first round Hall of Fame, all that other shit. which is still important because I worked there a long time. It's important to the relationship that I built there with the fans and that company, but I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing, like for me personally, like when I was doing that angle with Braun, I had, and I'll send you a picture of it later so you can put it on your thing.
Thank you.
I had holes in my ball joint on my hip.
You've showed me this. It's
you know the picture
crazy.
I'm talking about. And I worked a year and a half like that because I felt a duty to the guys in the locker room to be there for them, to keep the angles going.
Mm-hmm.
Like even I did the thing with the bar. I came to the bar that night that I knocked Cesaro out and the bar broke up because I didn't want to leave those guys hanging. Yeah. But the metal device that was in my hip was broken. You know, like I had surgery the next day, but I still came to Minneapolis because I didn't want to let Sheamus and Cesaro down and just like, oh, Big Show disappeared.
Did you know when it broke? Could you feel that it broke?
Yeah, I felt it.
Oh my God. Okay, we need to talk about the hip because this is a crazy story.
Yeah.
Because you had surgery and then you got what, MRSA or staph?
No, well, it's hard to say. I mean, I got what they call sensitive staph, so somewhere the metal. First surgery I had was what they call a resurfacing. It's a.
And this was a hip replacement.
No, this was the first one was a resurfacing. It's a titanium cap over the ball joint with a titanium receptacle in the hip. You keep 98% of your bone.
Right.
So they just shave the bone, put a cap over it, put one up in the pelvis, and big joint, you're rock and roll. 18 days after surgery, I walked 1.5 miles on a treadmill.
Oh.
Right? So and I beat Vince and Taker by 3 days. Because they had the same surgery, you know. Vince was like, well, did you walk out the day of surgery? No, they didn't let me walk out. I wasn't a billionaire that went back to my luxury apartment. I had to go back to Florida, so they kept me a couple of days. But so I beat them on that. And then on day 21 or 22, I had to go for my follow-up, and I had a little red bump. Just weird. It just came out of nowhere. And the doctor in New York thought it might have been a stitch. So he tried to aspirate it or drain it. That didn't work. And meanwhile, I knew nothing about infections. I hadn't dealt with any of this stuff before. And then it kept getting worse. And then I had all this pain. And so then come to find out, you know, well, we've got an infection. So what are the odds? There's a 33% chance they could open me up again, flush it out, clean out the infection, cover it with vancomycin, antibiotic powder, sew you back up, and you go through rehab and therapy again. So we took the 33% chance because there's a 2% chance of me getting this infection. So I figured 33%, sure, I'll be good. Now, meanwhile, now I'm 10 weeks out of WWE with all this fiasco and chaos. So I do the surgery, do the clean out, all that. I start doing good. Rehab's doing good. I think I'm coming back. I take one flight to do something for Special Olympics. My whole leg blows up, turns purple. The infection came back. So then, we're gonna have to put you on a PICC line, which is they put a line in through my arm that goes to my heart, and I have an IV bag, and I had 3 IV bags of vancomycin dripping, which takes about 2.5 hours to drip one bag at 3 times a day. It's like having a newborn baby, which you'll find out. You know, there's no sleeping 8 hours. You're doing a vancomycin bag in the middle of the night. You get 4 or 5 hours sleep, and then you gotta get another one. Then there's a drip time. Like it was like that for 10 weeks, you know. And
you must have been exhausted.
Well, I was totally exhausted. The thing is just before I had this hip surgery, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in.
Right. Yeah, you had like abs and
Yeah, I did.
What the hell?
Yeah. Well, and so I was on this motivation.
You still on that side?
They're a little fluffy right now, but by the time I come back to wrestle, they'll be.
All right.
I got too skinny. I got down to like 369. I was all head and feet for a while because I was biking 20 miles a day. So I got too skinny there for a while. I was like, you know, I need to go try out for the Lakers or something. I was getting too skinny. So
we'll talk to Shaq later.
Yeah, right. And so we did the PICC line. We did another surgery, all that. That's my 3rd debridement. So I ended up having 3 of those where they cut you open. And mine is a bilateral scar. So it goes across the hip. And it goes across the hip. But when it goes across the hip, it cut through all your stabilizer muscles and all that.
Yeah.
So I have to go through all that rehab all over again. So after the third debridement that didn't work, and here's the thing that I found out later that I didn't know, the infection is so smart, it hides in the machine grooves of the metal, and it will build a shield. It's like Captain America hides down with a little shield. And the antibiotic powder lasts like 38, 39 days in your body. The bacteria comes out 42 days.
Oh my God.
So it is so smart that it hides from the antibiotic powder.
Creepy little fucker.
Creepy little fucker, and then works its way back to the top. And then all of a sudden you get this purple thing, and I tried open wound healing it. We did that when we were packing it with this kind of gauze and stuff like that. Like it was, I went through some horrible shit. I got parents up in Niagara, and they didn't have a Walgreens in your lovely place of Canada.
Gotta find a Pharma Plus or something. Drug Mart.
So I had to actually use a maxi pad and duct tape.
No.
Because my leg was bleeding that bad.
Oh my God.
Then I had to fly to California because I had to do a thing in California, and it was the first time I met Joe Mangliano.
Yeah.
And
very handsome. Gorgeous
man. And I'm at his house, and he's married to Sophia Vergaro, and all their furniture is white.
Oh my God.
And there's no way I'm sitting down at this house. I just got there. So I'm just standing in the corner like a real weird giant guy who won't sit down. You know, I went and did a stream thing that I had to do with him. Then I flew home, you know, but I had a hole in my leg, big around as my finger. That was just a hole, and it just constantly wept, you know. And so then finally they cut the pieces out. They put in an antibiotic porcelain joint, porcelain covered, another PICC line for 10 weeks.
Jeez. So 20 weeks of the PICC line.
Yeah, 20 altogether, 20 weeks of the PICC line. Jesus. And then they put the new joint in on my birthday 3 months before I started filming the Big Show.
Holy shit.
So, and then we were fine from that. But by
you
then.
must have felt like it was never going to heal.
No, I always felt like I had this black cloud over my head, and it was ridiculous. But because of all the vancomycin and Zithromax and antibiotics I was taking, it gave me neuropathy, which it burnt all the nerves up from the waist down on my nerves. So, like, you know how your feet.
Not like all your nerves, right?
Some of those nerves too.
No.
You know how your feet feel when they fall asleep?
Yeah.
It was like that 24/7. So, like, for the longest time, my foot felt like it was about that big around. So trying to have my balance and all that stuff. And I had to do therapy and acupuncture and really work hard to get all that back.
So needless to say, you're ready to.
Yeah, like I went through hell. I went through hell to get back, and then the match with Drew. But I got the speech 5 years ago. That's a pretty bad speech.
What's that? I
got pulled into a talent relations office and got told that I will never main event a WrestleMania again. I will never main event a pay-per-view again, and I will only be used to get over NXT talent.
That was like said to you.
That was said to my face. Yeah, there's your inspiration. Now go work hard.
Like what the?
It's
heartbreaking.
Yeah, Vince didn't say that to me.
Yeah, of course it was.
It wasn't him.
Yeah.
But nothing gets said to you without it.
Of course.
You know where it comes from. So it hurt a little bit. It was like, really, that's where we're at, because they had to think about the future.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, okay.
Busting your ass.
Then I went and got in shape. I had the abs and all that. And I made the joke with Vince. I said, when I chain smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, drank Jack Daniels like water, and weighed 500 pounds, I was a world champion. I got abs. I can't get a match now.
Man, what the?
So, it was, and again, not making excuses, but I understand where they're coming from on there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They were trying to give me the heads up, like, hey, you've done everything that we can do with you. You've had a great career. Maybe it's time for you to start thinking about slowing down. Mm-hmm. I'm that, Jack. Yeah. The only thing I say is Vince said, are you going to slow down, Vince?
Exactly.
Are you going to slow down?
Exactly.
Well, then don't look at me and ask me to slow down, because I'm not going. You? Yeah, like, buddy. So I mean, it's everything happens. I know this sounds very cliche, but everything happens for a reason. If I hadn't gone through the stuff that I went through with my hip infection, I wouldn't have had the time to sit down with the people at Netflix to put together the Big Show to make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay. If I hadn't gone through what I went through, I wouldn't have had the availability and the determination and the courage to walk away when this contract expired.
Yeah. You get fired up. I mean, you had time to sit there and stew.
I had time to process.
You still had fuel in the tank that you wanted to.
That I still had things I wanted to do. And it's not about winning championships or accolades. That's not it. It's competing. It's being in that environment. It's being able to help the next generation grow and get better and improve. And, you know, and here's the thing, you know, some of my bullshit advice might not help some. But you know what? If it helps one or two people, then I've done good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it's all on how people take it and how they apply it themselves and how they interpret it. And because this is a beautiful, all the heartaches, the pains, the travels, the politics, the bullshit, all of that. Sure, if you sit back and look at it, it's immense. But at the same time, I've got lifelong friends. I've got friends that are fans that I've known forever. I've got an incredible. I'm a small town kid I'm from a small town, South Carolina. You know, my mom was a cop, my dad was a mechanic.
Yeah.
And I've been everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that in itself is a dream come true story.
It's crazy when you get to like look back and reflect on that stuff too. Like I've been doing that a little bit lately too. I'm like, man, like that's the thing I miss. It's like the friends that you get along the way, and like we really are like family. But now, as you branch out, I mean, here you have familiar faces in Jericho and
well, there's so many crew people here that I've known for years too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that, like when I came over here, it was like, oh my God. It's like, you know what I mean? Because you get so in the WWE world.
I literally just did the same thing. My church.
Yeah, like my church.
It's like we went every time.
I was like, oh, that.
You kind of lay down.
I went like, I'm letting neuropathy's back. I think, what's my leg moving now? You know, you get so involved in that WWE world that nothing really exists outside of it. Yeah. Because you're so committed to what you're doing. You're home, you're thinking about matches, you're thinking about angles.
You can never come up for air.
You know, you don't come up for it.
Yeah.
And I was a gear in that cog for a solid 18, 19 years.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you have time to step back and look, okay, well, what am I looking for now? And what am I looking for now is I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I want to have.
This is a place to do it. You get to be in control.
I get it, but you gotta understand. I'm kind of like a beat junkyard dog, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not as talented as BJYD, but I'm saying it's you know, it's a little hard. It's like, you know, you're waiting to be corrected or scolded.
It's a weird knee-jerk reaction. Yeah, I mean,
it's weird, right?
You get in such an interesting mindset. It is hard to break out of that. Yeah. It takes a while.
Because I've heard other people say things, and I flinched for them.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yep. Because they're like, and then you're like, oh, you can do whatever you want. You can say that. That's fine. Go right ahead.
It is really wild to see that difference. I mean, even just me seeing it through John and seeing his time here. I mean, I only used to pop out here so often, but yeah, seeing people that we've known from WWE from along the way and seeing people thriving here the way that they are, it's just cool to see people have another chance, another opportunity to get to do the thing that they love to do in a great environment. So my next question.
Yes, sir.
Are we going to get to see you in Shaq finally? Come on! I mean, since WrestleMania, what, 32? Was it 32 you guys won that battle royal?
I don't know.
I think it was Dallas.
I don't know. I pissed Edge off one time so bad because right before we did that angle with Vicky and Cena and I.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, I'm looking forward to working with you. He goes, show, we had a program like 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Oh, right.
So, you know, chair shots were real in my day. I forget about it. So,
Fair enough.
That's probably why that's why I don't worry about yesterday, because I forget it anyway.
Gone.
But you know what? I will say this. I think Shaq did a great job. I think he's a natural showman. He's an incredible athlete. And I think if the stars align, I'll be more than happy to show him how to chop for real.
You have a glimmer in your eye while you're talking about it. Like it's.
I'm old school. I'm not stooging anything off. I probably just did, but I'm not stooging anything off.
Fair enough. How weird is it for you to be announced as Paul Wight in a wrestling environment?
Super weird.
Yeah.
super weird. It's like, plus I found out today, somebody sent me a link that AEW just patented and applied for trademark for Captain Insano.
What?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, so it's funny. Yeah, I might bring back Captain Insano.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I will totally rip Hulk off every chance I can. Let me tell you something, brother. Captain Insano shows no mercy, dude.
I love that. Oh my God, that's so funny.
You know what's funny is when I did that Waterboy years ago, Hogan actually told his brother, "You should get that gimmick. That gimmick's money." You know, because he thinks outside of the box. Brother, that gimmick's money, brother. Captain Insano, that's money, brother.
That's
I think the whole reason he did Mr. America is because he was infatuated with Captain Insano. You know what I mean?
So I was doing research on Wikipedia, which is my main source on people, which I always find funny.
Because it's not really true?
Well, it's not always true.
Yeah.
But it's also just funny.
Like I have like 14 kids or something. Yeah. I've got like 14 kids or something.
It's okay. Somebody on the internet currently is saying that this is not a real baby, that it's like a fake pregnancy that I'm duping people into. So everybody stay tuned.
Oh, because you're that kind of an attention.
Yeah.
You're going to go through wearing a fake pregnancy.
What's the big payoff?
Yeah, what's the payoff in this?
Okay, so when I was doing research, I didn't realize what Danny Bonaduce. You met Danny Bonaduce.
Yeah.
He introduced you to Hulk Hogan. That was your whole way into wrestling.
That's how I got into wrestling. Here's what I did. I lost my dad, my grandfather, my basketball coach got fired. It was such they all in the same year.
Oh my God.
So for a young man, I got a little lost, and then I did some bounty hunting. I bounced in a bar. I was, doing my
bounty.
Yeah, I worked for a bail bondsman for a while.
Hell yeah.
And
that's a whole
it's not that glamorous, believe me. It's not that glamorous. It's a lot of sitting in the car waiting for some dumbass to come out of his favorite bar. But so I got a job from a friend of mine. He says, "Hey, there's this guy from Chicago that just bought all this karaoke equipment because Rent-A-Center back in the early 90s was doing karaoke rentals, rent to own, but they had like industrial karaoke equipment for like running a DJ business."
Okay.
And it was just a little bit ahead of its time. So this guy in Chicago was buying all the software that he could get in machines. And then he was doing a nationwide thing where he was a distributor of software and equipment. And he also ran about 150 shows over the Chicago area to all the bars. So he had 5 or 10 bars a night, and he was charging the bars from $1,200 to $1,500 a bar for karaoke and the DJ.
Okay.
So, but anyway, he was there buying the equipment. He bought it for pennies on the dollar. Pennies. But they needed somebody to load equipment, and I could drive a forklift. So one of my amazing talents.
That's like on your special skills.
Yeah, special skills is I can drive a dump truck, a backhoe, a front end loader, a forklift, and I can weld. So I learned how to do all this by the time I was 14. Right. So like I said, my dad was a mechanic. So anyway, so I went over for a job. It was $75 a day, cats. So then this guy is like a real fast talker. He was exactly like John Travolta in Get Shorty. Okay. Like when Get Shorty came out, everybody that knew Jimmy laughed because we thought that John Travolta has met Jimmy somewhere because the boots, other than like instead of wearing the dress shoes, Jimmy wore boots, the suit, the turtleneck, amazing. The wise guy. That they even looked the same, the whole thing. So Jimmy said, "So what do you want to do?" So I don't know. I'm kind of lost right now. I said. He says, "Why don't you come back to Chicago? I know some guys in the Bears. I'll get you a try on the Bears." And I'm like, okay, sure. So I went back to Chicago, and I had everything I owned was in a little laundry basket. Yeah. All my clothes, everything I owned. God. And my dad's urn and everything I owned was in a laundry basket. Whoa. And so I'm with him, and this guy had like 10 girlfriends all over Chicago. Like all my stuff I carried in the trunk because we stayed with a different girl every night. This guy was like unreal. I never seen anybody like this.
Dealing and dealing with babes.
He knew everybody. He knew everybody. He was everybody's friend, and he was a light. Like this guy could have fun in a prison camp. Like you go out to like the lake houses up there in Michigan or Chicago, and after being there a day, there'd be 50 people at our fire, and everybody's singing where everybody would come. Like he was just that guy, And so I answered phones during the day and, hello, this is Just Go Karaoke. May I help you? Hardware, software? So I answered phones. And then at night, I went around with Jimmy and he collected all the money from the bars. Because sometimes he'd have, 40, 50 grand cash on him, and I was with him. Not a bad deterrent, but he used to make me sing in every bar that we went to.
Oh,
I'd have to do it.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Funky Cole Medina. Are you kidding me?
One time, Tom Loke was on a plane behind me, and I was like, Tom Loke?
Right.
Like, that's that voice that you know.
Yeah. That's one thing I could do, because I can't carry a tune in the wheelbarrow. So, like, the Masked Singer called me, I was like, dude.
Oh, dude, that would have been so cool.
It would have been cool.
That would have been good.
No,
damn.
No, it would have been horrible.
Maybe you can do mass dance.
No, I don't. I can't dance either. No, there's no Disney movies in my future. I can't sing.
All right, noted.
Everybody loves some. That's it.
I mean, that was pretty good.
Anyway, so moving on. So we're talking one day, and he was doing the morning drive in Chicago with Danny Bonaducci, where Danny Bonaducci would have people come in to the radio station through a lottery drawing. They would sing their song karaoke on the air, and then fans would call in and vote, so it was kind of like, this thing's doing its own, it was weird.
Oh, it's
yeah, my fat fingers can't hit the button,
mine
right, so.
did this. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
If by the end you're laying down, it's totally okay.
Yeah, it's really weird. So, so we went in to do the show, and Danny Bonaducci was just absolutely super cool, super energy, and Jimmy got on great. And Danny was asking what I wanted to do. I said, I've always been a fan. This is exactly what I said. I said, I've always loved wrestling. I said, maybe I can be one of those guys that get beat up. I said, but I'm young and it looks like it would be fun, And he goes, oh, I know Hulk Hogan. I'm doing this thing with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. You play basketball. Which day you'll be my ringer. So, okay, it was a Chicago Wolves basketball game halftime. It was Mr. T and Hulk Hogan versus Danny Bonaducci and a secret partner. And it was for like a charity thing. So Danny introduced me to Hulk that night. And it was funny because I guess Hulk had saw me earlier in the crowd. He was elbowing Linda. Like, he looks like a young Andre. He looks like like Hogan got moist immediately. And then he found out that that I was an athlete and I wanted to wrestle, and I did the worst thing you could ever do for a wrestler, because I did an impersonation for him. Which luckily for me it worked out, but if it would have been some guys, it would have been a crash and burn.
You did like an impression of Hulk too, Hulk?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, well, let me tell you something, brother. I've been to the top of the mountain, dude. So what you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you, brother? Yeah,
it's really good. That is a great.
That's not bad, right? Well, I was a fan. So, Hulk, I did that for Hulk, and Hulk's eyes got real big. Now that I know him, in his mind, he was just writing checks.
Yeah.
Like, for bank deposits. Like, he had everything mapped out. What do you want to do? Work with me, bring me into the whole 9 yards. So, I flew to Atlanta to meet Eric Bischoff. And I flew down with Jimmy, and Eric Bischoff offered me, I think it was $700 a week to train at the power plant. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Now Jimmy, I almost beat up in the parking lot at CNN Towers, because Jimmy goes, well, you kidding me? $700 a week for him? He's a one of a kind athlete.
Yeah.
You know what? Call me when you're serious. We're out of here. And in the parking lot, I had Jimmy by the neck against the minivan that we rented, almost like a minivan, like Get Shorty, because that's the only thing we got from the airport. Yeah. I said, $700 a week, blah, 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 because I had no money,
Sure.
And he goes, dude, trust me, you never take the first offer, never. They'll call you. Nobody called. I'm like, I'm so mad at him. I had a girlfriend in Chicago that was, her dad woke up overnight, like as a millionaire for some kind of computer thing, but she was a big fan of Disney, so she wanted to go to Disney for vacation. So anyway,
sounds like a treat.
That was a treat. I had a sugar mama. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Oh my God, good for you.
She took care of me. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money.
Good.
I just stood there and looked. I just stood there and looked pretty. Anyway,
With those long locks. Hell
those long locks, buddy. They were deadly back in the day. I'd flip that over to one side like a big lion mane. Now it just hurts my neck when I do that. Nothing happens. But so we were in Orlando and Disney, and we went to Perkins there on International Boulevard because I wanted pie.
Oh my God.
And
I hear that right now, folks.
Yeah, right.
I'll order some.
Like Perkins used to have. Perkins used to have the best French silk pie ever. Like they'd ask me if I want a slice, and I was like, "No, bring the pie, bitch. I want it all." So we're in there, and I guess WWE was in town filming at Universal, and WCW was in town filming at MGM at Disney. Because they used to do those little tapings, and Jimmy Hart came in and saw me there in Perkins, and I didn't want to tell him. I didn't want to tell him like, yeah, hey, my rich girlfriend took me a vacation at Disney, so I was like, yeah, just down here doing some business, completely bullshitting because I was actually super embarrassed, and she was paying the bill as we were leaving because I sure as hell didn't have any money, and I was trying to tell, like, yeah, I'm just down here doing some business, and. Meanwhile, dying of embarrassment, because we turned down the deal there after we got
$700 a week.
Yeah, like I turned the deal down, so I'm really feeling like an asshole. So we go back to the hotel, and Jimmy calls me at like 3 a.m. He goes, dude, what are you doing? I said, I think I'm doing sleeping. He goes, I need you to get on a plane tomorrow and meet me in Atlanta. I said, I'm gonna meet you in Atlanta for. They called. I told you they called. I told you. So I hopped on a plane and met him in Atlanta. And then they gave me a ridiculous deal, the train and place to live and all that other.
So Jimmy hooked it up. Jimmy was right. I think you need to still cut Jimmy like a good 10%.
Well, Jimmy was getting a hell of a cut back in the day, kind of like a Colonel Parker cut in the beginning. Like he, I learned a lot there too. But moving along, that's how it all started.
Crazy.
And then originally my whole thing was I was an opponent for Hogan.
Yeah.
And if I did well, then they might consider doing something with me, and if not, they let me go.
And here we are.
And after that match, and then here we are years later. So,
crazy.
Yeah.
What a wild story. Yeah, I mean, I did not know that, but yeah, just like looking on Wikipedia, I was like, wait, what the?
Yeah, I owe my career, and that's the whole thing. Because back then, no offense, but there wasn't performance tryouts or training schools. I mean, there was it was like the mafia. You had to know somebody to vouch for you to get you in.
Yeah.
And let alone come in the way I did. And it's funny. It's the way I came in. I had so much heat when I came in.
Who'd you have the most heat with?
Most everybody that never became a champion or never got a run as a top guy. Just bitter people.
Yeah.
Every top guy that I met thought it was great and wanted to work with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But people that had never, their dreams for whatever reason didn't come to fruition, just.
It was your fault. You got in their way.
Yeah. I stopped them from the big title push. You know what I mean? Not the beer gut, cocaine habit they had that was stopping them, but it was me.
Who do you want to see come here? Who else do you think would be a great fit in this environment?
Honestly, there's one guy that I miss all the time, but I don't know if he's ever going to wrestle again or not. But it's Mark Henry. I love him.
He's still got it.
Oh, he does, but I think Mark would be amazing here because of he's got an eye for finding talent, and that's the thing about Mark that a lot of people don't know because of the way his character's done on TV and all that. There's so much depth to that man.
Yeah.
He's a lot smarter than people know. He knows everyone under the sun, and he's got a Rolodex full of athletes that he's helped, get better, train better, become wrestlers, get into colleges they want to go to, get tryouts for pro teams that they want to go to. I mean, he's just he's unbelievable. His heart is so big, the way he gives to athletes and helps athletes and stuff. So for me personally, I'd love Mark here because then we could be like, the two old men in the Muppets that sit up in the corner.
Waldorf and stuff.
That's us. That's me. That's me. That's Mark and us.
That would be fantastic. Mark really, it's his eye for talent is so incredible.
It's unreal. Like, if you went down the list of all the people that Mark has introduced to WWE and told Vince and Hunter, hey, you guys should pay attention to this person. And now,
Making money.
most of their entire main event roster is because of Mark.
Bianca come through him or Booker?
Bianca, I think Bianca came through Mark. I know
I think
that
she did too.
but I think she also did some stuff with Booker too.
Okay.
But I don't know how that transpired.
Yeah.
But I know that there's like Braun came through Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, Mark's got his eye on it. So, okay, that's a great one. And obviously, I know you've got a big announcement tonight. We don't have to get into that right now. But
No, I know. Everybody Dash had tried to corner me earlier and find out about it. I'm not telling you.
I'm so excited.
If I kept my own coming here a secret for like 5 weeks.
Is that how long it was?
Yeah.
That was a big secret.
Yeah.
That really, truly blew my mind. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And my final question.
Oh, you're leaning in. You're leaning in. So now this must be a good one.
Well, it's not that exciting, but
no, I did not date Mila Jovovich. I wish people would stop that.
What a babe she is.
Isn't she so hot?
She's so hot. Yeah. That's a good girl. I've not really thought of Mila Jovovich.
She's one of my top. I have my favorites are Mila Jovovich, Jessica Alba.
Oh yeah.
And Brooke Shields.
Oh yeah, Brooke Shields is great too. Mila Jovovich in the movie The Fourth Kind, great movie. Aliens.
For me was Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
Fifth Element, yeah.
Okay, so my question is,
yes.
What's your music going to be? Because your music is iconic.
Well, that might be a while before I get in the ring because we're working on that now.
I mean, how can we have you come out without the
I have some friends, some very, very famous. One of them is a very, very dear famous friend. He's a musician. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, right now he's currently shooting a movie with J-Lo in the Dominican Republic, which is Lenny. So
Mike, I can't believe you're friends with Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, he's my brother. Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah, but I forget that he's Lenny Kravitz, the rock star, till I go see him play. And then I'm like, oh yeah, he's like a rock star. Yeah.
I often think about the time. Remember when he like blew out his pants and his like wiener out, and the internet melted down because he a giant wiener.
Yeah.
Good for him. Him, Lisa Bonet.
I'll give a little golf clap for Lenny's giant wiener. There you go.
I mean, you appreciate. I mean, what a guy. Anyways, so he's gonna maybe help out.
I think so. Yeah, he's getting an idea. Well, him and also Craig, his guitar player, so they're both good. The only thing is, it's just trying to, when somebody's that busy doing stuff, I don't want to be that, hey, can you do this favor for me? Because I've never been that dude. So
I felt like that trying to get you to sit down with me. Like, I'm so sorry. I know you're busy.
No, it's funny. It's I'll do anything in the world for my friends, but I hate asking my friends for stuff.
I hate it. It makes me like sweat.
It does me too.
It fully makes me panic. Yeah. That's why I was like, no pressure. We need to do it now. We can do it later. Whatever you want. Like, I hate having to do that. It makes me so uncomfortable.
Because I don't want to be that person. No. And we've all had those people in our lives that just, hey, can I get backstage passes? Can I get tickets to WrestleMania? Can I get? It's like,
no. I know.
No, I had to put in ticket requests like 4 months ago. Like, stop.
Yeah,
it's 2 days before the show. I'm not getting you backstage passes. So you can run around and tell everybody I'm the one that let you in.
Taking pictures, blowing shit up on the internet. No thanks. No thanks.
Run up hugging Brock Lesnar. There you go.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. That won't turn out well for you, I promise. And I watched him make 300 people flinch one time.
How?
I love this story. I laughed so hard I almost peed myself. We were in Australia and we came off the plane. In Australia, they can come right to the gate. Okay. So they come right to the gate and they had some little like club rope trying to keep everybody away, but it was pretty packed. I mean, there were 300-400 people in that gate area. And Brock comes out with his glasses on, blonde hair, just mad at the fucking world because he's been traveling for 20 hours. If you know Brock, he's one of the sweetest people you've ever met. If he likes you. Yes. If he doesn't, keep on walking. Yeah. Just keep on walking because it's not going to end well for you. And I remember like blah, 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 pictures go off and all this stuff, and people are screaming. He snatched his glasses off and he looked at everybody like this, and like everybody like pulled their cameras down, and everybody there got scared because the way he took his glasses off, and he went like that. He flinched, And 300 people went, they all gasped. I started laughing so hard. And he goes, I appreciate it if you ask before you take a picture. And he keeps walking. I'm laughing so hard. I've got tears in my eyes because I just saw 300 people pee themselves.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
He tackled me in Gorilla one time. And I've never been so terrified in my life.
Right.
I came walking back to the curtain and grill, and he was about to go do seg 1. And he's down on the ground stretching. We make eye contact, and he's in like football stance stretching.
Right. And he just
we make eye contact. He just ran at me, lifted me up. I was like, "Whoa!" I like just to like see or like feel an athlete like that. Like there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do.
My favorite.
It was at his mercy.
I've been at his mercy. My favorite story for him is we had a thing one night where Heyman and I were talking trash on the ramp, and Brock was supposed to be out of the building, but he comes from the side. And he's supposed to climb the railing and come up the ramp, but he has a chair. And you know, the rule is if a guy's chasing the chair, you run, or else if he gets close, he can hit you. Mm-hmm. It's a freebie. So all of a sudden, Brock comes from the side, and I'm tall enough so I can see him. He cuts through that crowd like in less than a second and a half. He goes about 4 feet above the railing, sideways, like sideways, not like he had to scissor it or jump over it. Like he went over it.
He high jumped it.
Yeah, like, but had like 4 feet still to go. Landed, hit the ground, and was sprinting towards me. And I went, oh, damn, he's an athlete. Oh, come for me. I'm the
target.
I'm the target. And I had to turn around right up there. Yeah, I've laughed with him so hard so many times. He punched me in the ear one night.
Oh, Jesus.
And we were working. He punched me.
I just checked for cauliflower ear, by the way.
No.
What is the status of your ears?
He punched me in the ear, and I headbutted him really hard. He goes, what was that for? I said, you hit me in the ear, you dick. You know, like he laughed.
He's a misunderstood nice guy.
He gave me an F5 in Africa, in South Africa, and I think he was in Cape Town. I had some bad food.
Oh, God.
And this is back when I had the leather pants. You know, thank God. I had the leather pants, the singlet, and I hit that mat, and just it came out.
You exploded.
It came out, and he's covering me. He goes, oh, he's covering me. I said, yeah. He goes, you know what I mean? And then while I'm laying in the ring after the F5, he keeps stepping on my stomach like he's trying to make more come out, you know? I'm like, and I'm trying to sell his finish. I'm like, get the away from me. So he had dumped Paul Heyman in the ring too, right? So the thing was, that was the finish. And then I would usually get up, come to, pull Paul out, throw Paul over my shoulder and carry Paul out. That was the end of the night for the heels. We were totally humiliated, you know. But this night I was humiliated. So Paulie's laying there and he goes, you gotta carry me to the back? I'm like, no. What do you mean? You're not gonna carry me to the back? I shit myself. What? I shit my pants. I can't hear you. What? I shit myself. Oh, okay. Are you all right?
Oh my God. Just an Imodium and a new pair of pants.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So meanwhile, I'm the guy out the back of the arena with a hose, hosing off my pants, like, you know, like.
Thank God they were leather.
Yeah, I changed my gear after that.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah, those leather pants never left Africa. I don't think
they're still there. I
think they were in the trash can in that arena. Matter of fact.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but that's Lesnar. I always laugh. I always tease him now because he's got the best backstage game since Hulk Hogan. Like when he walks backstage, like people get against the wall. They're terrified of him.
Yeah.
You know, and I just laugh.
Especially when he walks back unassuming in like cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. You're like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, and he walks right down the middle, and like people duck in rooms. And
yeah,
but he's a good dude.
He is.
He is a good dude.
Yeah, he's always been so sweet to me. Yeah. I've always really liked him.
Yeah, he's a good dude, but he just. And here's the thing, you know, and he's an example that I give to younger guys that are big guys that are strong guys. I said, who's the most dangerous guy perceived in wrestling right now? It's Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. And what does Brock Lesnar do incredibly well for a big muscled up guy? Sells.
Yes. Oh, he's a great seller. I don't think people give him enough credit.
No, they don't, because his intensity, his overwhelming offense sometimes takes away from the fact that when Brock Lesnar sells, he sells his ass off. Yes. And he loves to sell when somebody brings it to him. But if they don't bring him to him, he's going to eat their lunch.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great motivation for muscle guys, body guys that are working out who think they have to work strong means don't sell. Look at someone I brought, Lesnar, who sells, but one thing he's always doing, he's always moving forward.
Always. It's funny.
He doesn't do one move and look at the crowd, one move, look at the crowd, like a lot of people do that make mistakes. His eyes never leave his opponent.
It's always funny to me, like just how, like, 'cause, I mean, people can be very hot or cold on how they feel about Brock, whether he's on top or, you know, he's part-time
Controversial.
guy or whatever. Yeah, it's very controversial. But he's so good at what he does that he can do whatever the hell he wants. And I don't think I appreciated that as much until I was on commentary and being like, oh, I get it now. You see things through a different lens.
You see things through a different lens.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen things different because I worked with him, because Brock's the one that actually turned my career around WWE.
Yeah.
Because for a long time I had a lot of heat up here and, you know, a lot of stuff like that. And, you know, Brock knew me. And they asked Brock, they said, well, who do you want to work? He says, I work with a giant. He says, you dumbasses don't know how good he is. I
Time to show everybody.
You know, and then we had a stretcher match.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was off and running to me. My stars opened up and everybody realized that, oh my God, we can do something. You know?
It's so crazy how somebody that, like, I mean, not that it's Brock taking a chance on you per
no,
se, but those
somebody
like,
that vouches for you in the right
moments.
spot. Because here's the thing, I had a lot of negativity because I came from WCW. I was green as grass, so I made a lot of stupid ass mistakes in the beginning, you know, and it wasn't until, you know, once I got my shit together. And that's why I have a soft spot for a lot of talent that's struggling, because I've been there.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be your first time, it has to be the time.
No. It hits different for everyone, but sometimes just trying to really explain that it's not that complicated, because once it clicks, once it catches, once you understand who you are, this business is the greatest thing ever. Yeah, it's fun.
It's the best.
It's fun every night. You can pull those people. You can have them hate you.
Yeah.
You know, you can have, you know, O2 Arena one night chanting, you fat wanker, and the other night chanting, you know, you still got it. So,
yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful thing.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to join me here.
It's my honor to be here. I'm sure I probably get all kinds of heat for everything I've said. But
I don't think you said anything bad.
I'm going to blame her. You know, look, she was pregnant and I had to do it. So
maybe you can do that. Well, you got 3 more months to lean on that. Anyways, might as well blame on something.
Well, you haven't really gotten uncomfortable yet.
I've got a pillow behind my back.
You got a pillow behind your back, but as you go along, you're gonna like pee every 20 seconds.
I'm peeing. I sneeze and peed my pants more than I care to admit. And if I drop something on the ground now, I really have to decide if I need it. Do I need
you kicked it along to the floor to somewhere where you're sitting down?
I'll either do that or just go, I don't need it. I don't need it anymore. It's got to be really worth it. Yeah. Well, it's awesome to see you here. You look great. I'm so excited for this part of your career and this journey that you're on. And yeah, I just get to watch and be a fan of Paul White.
There it is. Big G, baby. What's up?